As a musician, there's a lot of things that we need to build, but the thing I want to talk about today, I feel, is the most important thing we will build on our music journey. Let's talk about it. Thanks so much for tuning into another episode of the Christian Indie Artists and Songwriters Podcast. I'm your host, Brian, and on today's episode, we are going to talk about community. Now, I hinted at it in the beginning of I feel it is the most important thing that we build in our journey. Yes, we build our skills, we build our talents, we build our songs and our music and our brand and all those things, but the community aspect is what lifts us up over time. It's what helps us connect with others. It helps us get better, helps us encourage others on their journeys. And the community, I feel, is the most vital aspect. Because if you think about it, without a community, it's just us by ourselves. And how can we share music with anyone if we don't have a community? So today I want to go through 4 things that benefit us to have a community. But before we jump in, one of my favorite communities of all is the CIAS, Christian Indie Artists and Songwriters Facebook community. If you're not already a part of it, click the link below and jump in. It's a bunch of Christian Indie artists and songwriters just working through all of the different things that we do as musicians. So it's a great place to ask questions. It's a great place to share wins. It's a great place to talk. Now, I will say that in the group, we try to keep it away from being kind of a spam, kind of self-promotion group. Of course, there are times where it's great to celebrate wins, but we always ask people to share the story, the inspiration, the encouragement behind why they're doing what they're doing so they can help encourage other people along their journey. If you've ever been to a Facebook group where all you see is 1,000 posts about click the link and check out my song. And I've been to a group, there was one in particular that I don't even remember where it was, but I went and it had a lot of members in it. There was a ton of members in it, but literally every single post was just check out my song with a link or just a link. And the thing that was crazy was that there was no engagement. There was no likes. There was no comments. So to me, that's literally completely pointless because no one's helping anyone. No one's listening to each other's songs. And it's just a place to maybe make people feel like they're promoting themselves. But honestly, it literally is falling on deaf ears. So that is not what the CIAS Facebook community is. The CIAS Facebook community is a place where you can connect with other people. That's the entire point of it. That's the entire reason that we created it. We wanted it to kind of work in tandem with the podcast because the podcast is a little bit more information content driven, more topic based, but the group is a place to actually connect with each other. So click the link below and jump in. So I wanted to walk through these 4 reasons today why I think it's really important, and not only that, but also how do you actually do that? How do you find your community? And it's sort of woven into each point. So let's jump into point number 1. So number 1 is community develops us. And what do I mean by that? Well, I think that as we go, the more experience we get, the more that we do, the people that are around us are shaping us. Now, whether that's directly asking people, because let's be honest, when we all start off in music, most of the time, our biggest fan is our mom, and she loves everything we do, and we can't do anything wrong, and that's really important. But that's where the community starts, is usually with family members and friends. But as we grow and our community grows, it will develop us more and more because our community loves us. They love what we do. They're supporting us because in most cases, it starts off because they know us personally. So they shape us. We might be sharing our music with them. We might be sharing with them our ideas, our hopes and dreams. And through that process of sharing and putting ourselves out there, we get developed. The biggest artists out there have huge communities. And by community, I mean, this could be a fan base. This can be whatever. I'm just saying the community is every person that is surrounding and involved with you on your music journey. As a fan, whether that's as a collaborator, management, whatever the role is, it's just every person that's sort of involved in your music journey sphere. So as these huge artists out there that have big fan bases, they're posting things too. Nobody gets beyond being developed by their community because your community, you serve your community, especially as you get further down the road, they kind of have shown what parts of you that they best resonate with, and that helps you understand your target. Because if you put out a bunch of rock covers and your community doesn't resonate with it, but they love that one country song that you did, or they love that one ukulele song you did, whatever the case may be, they're kind of helping you develop your sound. They're helping you develop your direction, your branding, and obviously your sound points back to everything else you do, from your branding, the way you post on social media. So I truly believe that our community develops us, and without that support, without that honesty, without those people listening and pouring into us, we might not know where to go. We might not have a grounded sense of reality because we think either everything we do is pure genius or everything we do is pure garbage or somewhere in the middle. But the community can develop us along the way if we just continue to lean on them and continue to grow. They'll grow with us, and we'll get better and better each step of the journey. And number 2, our community inspires us. Now, this happens on both sides. This happens from the fan side and also, I feel like, from the collaborator side, because we are the sum of all of our influences combined. Who we are, what style, what genre, whatever we write or whatever we produce or whatever we make, it's a combination of everything that's ever come into our world. Whatever those songs our parents might have listened to, or our grandparents, or our friends, whatever that is, whatever we've heard, that will ultimately end up in the combination of our own artistry. So that's a great thing, because in your community of, say, your other artist friends, they may be putting out really cool music or really cool branding or really cool videos or whatever they're doing. And that will inspire us because it's something that we enjoy. Chances are the people in our community are people that we like and we're also fans of, and most likely in that person's community as well. So obviously those things will inspire us along the way. And on the flip side is, because of our art, because of our community, we are inspiring people within our own community as well. So it definitely goes both ways, because, we're kind of creating a little world, a little ecosphere within this greater, music market or population in general. As we are working on things that are inspiring to us, we will inspire others, and our community helps both inspire us, and then we inspire our community along the way. And before we jump on to point number 3, if you could do me a huge favor and subscribe and hit the like button, that's the best way for this content to get out and encourage other indie artists and songwriters just like you to get their songs heard, and I would appreciate it so much. And number 3, our community keeps us going. I think one of the most dangerous lies that we hear as an artist, and I know that I've felt this, and I know that so many of other people I've talked to feel this, is that we fall into the trap that if we gave up, no one would even care. No one would even notice. And a community goes against that. It makes it impossible to believe that, because we know that the community supports us. We know that the community can keep us going because we know that they care. And that is really important, because any artist will tell you that sometimes you just feel like you're running out of steam. You might be there right now. You might feel like, I've got nothing left to give. Does anyone even care? Would anyone even notice if I didn't release anything else? Would it matter to a single person if I never release another song again? And the answer is yes, because even if you don't have a huge community right now, and you may, but even if you don't, there are still people out there that need your song, they need your music, they need your brand, they need you. And if you quit, you're taking that opportunity away from them. So the community keeps us going in a lot of ways. We get to celebrate the wins with our community, and also our community will pick us up when we've faced some struggles or have some hard times. It's that constant give and take. And I know that this might sound a little heady, and it might sound a little bit like, how do I even get a community around me? And I'm going to talk about that at the end, about how to actually find a community. The easy way to look at it is by just being your authentic self and putting out your best work, a community will naturally follow, because there are a bunch of people out there that need your song, and that is a big reason how our communities keep us going. And number 4, communities support us. Now, I'm saying this in a very career-minded way. Don't know if you've heard of the teaching about 1,000 true fans, but basically what it says is if you have 1,000 true fans that spend $100 with you on your artistry per year, that results in $100,000 income per year. So 1,000 fans might seem like an impossible amount of people, but if you think about it, probably 1,000 people at your local mall right now. So it doesn't take that many people. And I think that's the point of that, is that it doesn't take that many people to actually have a sustainable career in music. And obviously, that points to how the community supports us, because supports us financially, supports us emotionally, supports us creatively, because if we know that people are out there ready to receive, are ready to hear from us, are ready to be impacted by our music, then obviously that's going to inspire us to keep creating and keep putting out music. Yes, having a community to support us will allow us to keep going, because if we don't have people supporting us, if we're not making any income from doing music, then obviously we're going to have to do something else, because you have to be able to support yourself. It doesn't take 1 million fans. I mean, sure, that would be great, and that obviously makes the math even easier and better as far as being supported, but it doesn't take a lot of people. I mean, you could have 500 people support you with $200 a year. Come to a show, purchase your merch, purchase music, whatever it looks like. It doesn't take that much to be able to be full-time. And you don't even have to have $100,000 a year to be a successful artist. That's just the math that they use in this example. But regardless of the math and regardless of the size of your community, as it builds and builds over time, community supports us. So you're probably asking yourself, cool, I get it. Community is really important. But how do I actually have a community? Well, like I kind of hinted to before, it comes through being your authentic self and putting it out there. A great place to start is finding a great community to enter into and encourage and be a part of. And you don't go into these communities to try and just to go in and try to get what you want. Serving community is key. So there's a million Facebook communities. I always talk about the CIS Facebook community because I'm partial to it. But there's other great communities out there with active artists, and you just have to find the good ones. Don't use the example that I talked about earlier where it's just a bunch of people posting their song links. That's silly. That's pointless. Those aren't the ones I'm talking about. I'm talking about really good, engaging communities out there, and contribute. Be a part of it. Engage. Make your presence known, and then people will start to kind of bring you into their worlds. And also, like I said, it starts with family, it starts with friends. You just go from there. I think at the end of the day, the most critical part of building a community and fostering and growing a community is just being yourself, letting people know who you are and what you're all about. And then people will start to attach themselves, surround themselves, and want to be a part of what you're doing. And on the flip side of that, when you're clear about who you are and what you're doing, then other people will understand, hey, I appreciate that. That's great. That's not really my thing, so I'm not really going to enter into that. And that's okay too, because there's way too many people in this world to try to think that we need to have everyone be a fan or everyone to be in our community. We only need a small amount of people. I think it just comes naturally by being ourselves and putting out the best and most authentic art we can. So I hope that seeing these 4 examples of how community is vital helps bring some clarity and some renewed vision to you on the importance of it. There's a great book, and one of these days I'm going to do a book review on this book because I love it so much. It's called The Go-Giver. If you haven't read it before, I think it's really important. It's really cool. It's basically a business book telling a parable, which is saying how instead of being a go-getter, we're a go-giver. And by giving, we actually can find reciprocity in the world and ultimately get what we want, but that only comes by serving others first. And so there's these 5 stratospheric laws of success in the book. And the second one says that your income is directly correlated to the amount of people you serve and how well you serve them. And yes, this is specifically to a financial thing, but I think that this goes far beyond just a financial compensation thing. The amount of people we serve directly correlates to the amount of people in our community. If we're willing to continue to serve and reach out and encourage and help other people, that will naturally make our communities grow larger. And of course, that process continues on and on. So I think that that is a really valid thing to think about. And it makes a lot of sense because the bigger the platform is, the better you steward your platform, the better you do when it comes to reaching people and serving people with your true authentic self. The bigger your community grows, the more people you support, and ultimately the more successful you will be on your music journey. And so I want to know, what are some things that you've done to build your music community along the way? Comment below and let me know. Also, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I look forward to seeing you next Friday at 5 a.m. on the CIAS podcast.